Right. Good evening, I'm Daniel Ackerman, the curator of MESDA, and we're live at the CITES House in historic Rockingham County. You may remember the CITES House, if you're a Facebook fan of Jeff Evans, as the place where Jeff's chair collection and cats live. We'll talk to Jeff in just a little bit about the historic CITES House, but first, as part of MESDA Match, I want to talk to two of our students who've been along with us on the Great Wagon Road for the past several days. I also want to say that I want to thank you for watching us these past few nights. MESDA Match is an important way that we're working to continue doing the kinds of things we do every day. That is, telling the story of the South using the objects that are here. If you'd like to make a gift to MESDA Match, you can do that by visiting our website, mesda.org/match. Now, I'm joined by two of our students, Mathew Monk and Beth Hayes, and we are talking about their projects.
Hi everyone.
We've had a fun day in the valley today. We have been to, it's been such a long day. Belgrove, Luray,
Long's
Chapel, where else? Newmarket. We had a great time in Newmarket.
Let's not forget Southern Kitchen.
Southern Kitchen, an incredible lunch at Southern Kitchen with a great lecture at Brenda Hornsby-Heindel. And this is like day 5 or 6 of this trip. What are y'all's favorite things you've seen so far?
I've loved doing all the field work, going out and seeing the sites live, walking around, getting to actually investigate them, and not just look at them in pictures, but get down on the ground and use all of our senses to understand them better and see how these material cultural objects are fitting in the sites they came from.
Matthew, what's been your favorite thing so far?
I think my favorite thing so far has been the opportunity we've had to be welcomed into people's houses and invited to see their private collections. These families are providing us with excellent dinners and an opportunity to really embrace with sort of their collections and their own stories. They're native Shenandoah Valleyans, and it's just been really special to really not only get to see the objects, but see them in context of the houses they came from and the families they even come from. These are descendants of people who made these things, and it's really just been a fabulous experience and something that I couldn't get anywhere else.
So, Matthew, let me ask you this. Where do you come to us from for the Summer Institute?
So I am a native. I'm a native Appalachian. The backcountry is kind of my home. My family hails from Tazewell and Russell County, Virginia, at the very, very far end of the Great Valley. So I am actually a Great Wagon Road descendant, and my family's been here forever. So this has been really a great opportunity for me to kind of learn not only about my own roots, but expand my own sort of research opportunities. And what I really want to do in the future is kind of expand the research that people like Jeff Evans and MESDA are doing down into my area, which is a little bit more mountainous and a little bit more understudied.
So, Annabeth, where do you come to us from?
I'm coming from Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I'm actually a native Tennessean, and so my family started in North Carolina like Matt, and then later when they settled in Tennessee, they're part of this great wagon road experience. And so I'm like echoing Matt, wanting to see how this affects our own past and then our future endeavors as historians.
So field work is a huge part of what we do. So for both of you, here's a question.
Sure.
What has been the biggest surprise that you've had along the way?
There's still questions. Today at the Spittler House, we were still asking questions about what happened here. There still needs to be research to be done, and we're part of Betsy Davison's questioning of this site and getting our own expert opinions,
Sure.
I guess, of what's going on at
Sure.
this site.
Yeah, she challenged us with a map and sort of minimal information at first to kind of actually, in her own words, have us go through exactly what she went through in the research process, which has been a really great exercise in terms of us as developing scholars in the field. It was really great to kind of walk into a site, just like we will in our own careers later on, kind of blind to the idea. We just get to look at it, get to filter it, and then really use our own sort of knowledge bases. And we're all sort of experts in our own different fields, media-specific areas, and we really just got to kind of collaborate as a group. And then she kind of did the big reveal of what her research has sort of uncovered, what the research has uncovered so far for her. It's been a great experience.
So, Matthew, you are a textile person, and it should come as no surprise, particularly people who know you, that you picked a textile project for your institute
Sure.
project. In fact, not only one, but you actually took 2 objects. I'm going to go ahead and bring the first of them up on the screen here.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about the Hanger family quilt.
Okay, so what you're looking at now is what I'm going to call the Hanger Trimble quilt, or the Trimble Hanger quilt. It was made circa 1850 to 1855. I haven't quite nailed down the exact date yet, but it is a Baltimore album style quilt, but made in Augusta County, Virginia, right outside of Stanton, Virginia, by a wealthy German family who have completely anglicized. And part of what I'm arguing is that this cutwork tradition of applique does come from a German tradition, but we're dealing with a family that's predominantly in a Scots-Irish and English-based county who have anglicized very early on. They've been there for 4 generations. So this is, I'm going to try to argue, at least what my research is leading me toward now, is that it's both an expression of their Germanness and an expression of their sort of integration into a more diverse community.
I'm going to bring up the second object too, because when we went through our object presentations, I remember you just kind of wanted to do every single object we presented, and there was a second quilt that really attracted you too. It's an album quilt from the Museum of the Shenandoah Valleys collection, which they've graciously put on loan to us. So tell me a little bit about this one.
So the quilt that you're looking at now is more of the traditional album quilt, or the signature quilt. So each one of those bigger squares that you're seeing actually has inked signatures from different parish churches. It has an association with the Presbyterian minister, who is a minister both in Georgetown, Washington, D.C., and in Charlestown, Virginia, which we had the pleasure of driving through and visiting the other day. And this one's kind of unusual because usually they're made by one congregation and given to a minister or a family member who's then going to leave and not come back. This one has signatures both labeled Georgetown, D.C., and Charlestown, Virginia at that time, because it's pre-Civil War. And then it's been assembled somewhere else and then presented to the minister as a gift. So this one is a really interesting, it creates a really interesting dialogue in terms of transportation, travel, and the really connectedness of the backcountry to the really urban area of Washington, D.C.
It is a really cool object, and we're just so grateful to the Museum of the Shenandoah Valley for lending it to us so that you could work on it. Now, Annabeth, I'm going to pull up your object here for a moment. This is Amelia Locke by Jacob Freimeyer. What drew you to this object?
The question behind, is it done by Jacob Freimeyer or is it Amelia Locke, or is it either? And so that's what I've been trying to investigate during this field study trip. And she is from Winchester. If it is Amelia Locke, she is from Winchester, Virginia, and Jacob Freimeyer is an itinerant painter who travels from Pennsylvania to Virginia and then ultimately Kentucky and finds his way back to Pennsylvania. So you see how the Great Wagon Road, people are going down it and then they come right back up. And so I'm kind of going down both paths of studying Amelia and then studying Jacob. And so this field study trip, we got to spend 2 days in Winchester. And so I went to Peter Locke's shop, I went to his brother Simon Locke's shop, and then I've been doing research at the Hanley Library at the Stuart Bell Archives, and they were very gracious to help me within my 1 hour of research time I got to have. And so I'm trying to see why Amelia, her portrait, looks the way it does compared to Jacob's other portraits. It's a little different. It's always been characterized as the more refined in his collection. And then why her expression is the way that it is. She just stands out in comparison to the portraits of her family and then the other artwork done by Jacob.
So I'm going to let you both go back to the party, to the field work, to the study we're doing. But any final words for the people who are joining us live tonight about your experiences so far on the Great Wagon Road or with the Summer Institute?
This has been transformative. Like Matt said, we've been invited into so many people's homes, into their places of work. I'm so short. And so it's been so amazing to get to see all of this, this material culture. We get to actually travel part of the Wagon Road and see how it is going, how these artisans and these people, how their lives are transformed by the opening up of the West. And so it's been amazing to be able to experience it firsthand.
I think for me, MESDA Summer Institute not only has allowed me to kind of fill in a gap in my own education. I'm currently a student in the Smithsonian George Washington History of Decorative Arts program, and I'm a curatorial intern at the American History Museum for the Smithsonian. And we don't have offerings in Southern material culture, so this not only fills a gap for me in terms of my scholarship, but it allows me to really further my career, introduce myself to people, network, and really learn firsthand from people who live and breathe this stuff. And it's been an amazing opportunity. And it's thanks to people like Jeff and Beverly Evans, whose wonderful home and hospitality have been open to us today, that's even made possible to me.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm going to let you get back to the chair study going on. and to the object study and everything else we're doing here. But you heard it here. This is how the future begins. This is how we make sure the story of the South continues being told. We train the future scholars, students, to tell the story of the South using the objects that were made and used here. And you can be part of that through MESDA Match, visiting www.mesda.org/match. And keep an eye on our website and social media, because if you, like me, want to hear what kind of incredible research they're coming up with, we're going to be inviting you to attend the final presentations. That's right, our final presentations this year on July 14th. Keep an eye out on social media and on our website. We would love to have you come and visit us and hear the kinds of important stories that Mathew and Beth are coming up with. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Now we're going to go find Jeff Evans, because he's going to tell us a little bit about this house that you've been seeing behind us, the CITES House, here in Rockingham County, Virginia, where he and Beverly Evans not only live and not only have lovingly restored, but have actually really turned it into a place for education and teaching. This is not my first time here. I've been here a number of times with different groups, and they really love nothing more than to open up the house and share it with students and scholars who are as interested in the past as they are. So I see Jeff over here, and we're going to have a few words with him before we finish up our broadcast tonight.
Hey,
Jeff.
looky there.
I have
Guess what
Jeff
has?
Evans right now.
Cat Daddy.
And who do you have, Jeff?
I have Scarlett. Scarlett is one of our new kittens. Her and her brother Quincy will be going to Shelley Catherine at Old Sturbridge Village. So they're gonna be museum cats. We only raise the finest felines.
And in fact, we have a second one right here,
Yes.
right there.
Look at this little precious baby.
So they're the Rascals' half brothers.
Now, let's be honest, most people are probably most interested in the cats. but
Oh, they smell like it.
but just quickly, tell me a little bit about the house that we are standing in front of.
The CITES House is we're writing this in. Is that going to work?
Yeah, it works.
Okay. So the CITES House is a circa 1800 German center chimney stone house built by the CITES family coming out of Philadelphia. They get their land, their 400-acre patent here in the 1770s, built a log structure about 1780, and then proceed to build the stone part around 1800. The back L addition was replaced the original log cabin that they built, and that was put on about 1870, and then Beverly and I put the very, very back of the L on when we restored the house in 1991. So basically, we're looking at a stone house with German center chimney, but not traditional, because you do not enter into the kitchen in our house, because the kitchen was in the log part. So, but it's extremely well preserved. Never had electricity until we put the electricity in when we restored it. Just had a little side bathroom that was fed by a water ram, and so it was really a virgin project when we did it back in the early 1990s.
Well, I mean, you all did an incredible job, and an incredible job too, filling it with important objects that really, I mean, you teach from. You teach from this house.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Why is it so important that that we sort of focus on teaching the next generation?
The things that are important to the next generation are things that have history and context. Provenance is such an important part of what we collect, and we see it day after day that the new collectors, younger collectors, or even seasoned collectors are paying a premium and paying attention to pieces that have their provenance. So what MESDA did back in the 50s and 60s and 70s with the field studies, going in and recording a lot of these pieces in their original homes, huge huge. I mean, that sets benchmarks for attributions in the future. And if Frank Horton had not done that with his students, I mean, that would be a huge part of the American South, the history of the decorative arts in the American South that we would have lost. So Beverly and I have, over the years, we have made a special attempt to record and save and collect things that are basically from the three county areas: Shenandoah County, Rockingham County, and Augusta County, and getting these things out of the original families and being able to record their history. And that's what we filled our house with.
Well, Jeff, I want to thank you for having us here tonight, sharing this collection with us. I don't want to keep you from the cats or the chairs, but thank you for having us here and for really being one of our ambassadors here in the Shenandoah Valley. It's always great to be here, so thank you and Beverly so much.
It's absolutely our pleasure. We love sharing, and remember, MESDA matters and MESDA match.
Exactly. I couldn't say it better myself. MESDA matters, MESDA match. We are live from the CITES House, and before we go tonight, I just want to thank everybody who has made a gift over the past couple of days. Your support helps us do what we do. It helps us tell the story of the South. It helps us educate the next generation, and we can't do that without your help. So take a moment, if you enjoy this kind of program, if you enjoy what we do, if you think what we do is important, and visit www.mesda.org/match. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll be live again tomorrow night from a very special location with a little bit of a Southern Foodways angle. But thank you for joining us. Please let us know if you enjoy these programs. And as I said, visit www.mesda.org/match to be part of this campaign. I'm Daniel Ackerman, live along the Great Wagon Road with the MESDA Summer Institute, and good night.
Yay!